Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CoROM Podcast. This is where academic medicine meets remote, austere, and resource-limited areas. I'm with Glib Bitiukov. Glib is one of our remote paramedic graduates from Ukraine. Glib, can you discuss your experience with our remote paramedic program?
Thank you, Mr. Aebhric, for invite me. Of course, sorry for my English. Maybe it's not so good, not so clear, but I will try as best to deliver the information. And thank you for invite me to that course of the remote paramedics. It was absolutely great, very new for me, and I am absolutely sure that it was new for all Ukrainian medics, because I get medical degree in Ukraine, so I finished the regular educational institution in Ukraine and get regular medical degree. Regular, I mean, we have nurse degree, we have physicians or doctor's degree, but we don't have in Ukraine paramedical degree. Before we was started the medical reform, medical transformation in Ukraine. So paramedicine never existed in Ukraine. And it was absolutely new for me and absolutely new for all Ukraine. But course, it's absolutely great. And it's very flexible course when you can get some information, some knowledges in distance positions. So you can learn, you can read some materials, some books, and then come to college and start learn the practical skills and refresh knowledges. Every morning we have brain warming up, and it also help to refresh and renew that knowledges which we can read by the phone or by the notebooks in the distance way. So the course is absolutely great, and information is very, very suitable for people and for person who would like to work with emergency situation, with patient who became in emergency situation. This information is so need to know if you would like to provide the medical care and emergency medical care.
Thanks for that. Glib, we met again in Ternopil when you were working for the Ministry of Health, and you were instrumental in getting the college into the first paramedic instructor program for felchers. Can you describe that?
Yeah, of course. When we met in Ternopil, I just start transition program. The goals of this transition program to take the medics who work on ambulances on emergency medicine and who get the normal regular degree, which called nurse degree in Ukraine, or also we have others similar to nurse, which called felcher's degree. So take these persons, go through transitions program, this educational transition program, and then this person became a paramedic. So the paramedics, it's pretty close to the nursing, but it's not the same. And paramedics, it's people who have ability to work in very hard situation with emergency patients and provide very critical care. So it's not the same which have to do the nurse in Ukraine even. And in Ukraine, unfortunately, we have very old USSR heritage in educational process and heritage in medicine. So we would like in Ukraine to transform medicine, to make the contemporary medicine, the same medicine like work in the United States, in Europe, in other countries. So the medicine which work very speed and patient-oriented medicine. And all of the things need to change the mind of our medics. To do this, we have to reteach this person. So we create this transition program to reteach our medics who works in ambulances, because this transition program, and so far I told just about the EMS system. But of course, the medical reform in Ukraine, is reform all of medicine and primary healthcare, secondary healthcare, very specialized healthcare, and other things. But so far, we talked just about the EMS system. So we would like to take the staff who work on ambulances, reteach, and then get the renewed staff who uses protocols, EMS protocols, I mean, how to provide medical care in a critical situation and how to provide care in a critical patients. So we provide this, we create this transition program. And when we meet in Ternopil, we just started creating this transitional program. And of course, the main challenges was who will teach this program, because we don't have paramedic in Ukraine. And of course, we don't have any teachers, any instructors who have ability to teach this program. So we need to start from some points, and these points was where we can get these instructors. And then we decide that we need to ask for other instructors from other countries who good enough to come to Ukraine and to build Ukrainian group of instructors. And then this Ukrainian group of instructors will teach other person in Ukraine. So this is the way how we would like to sort out the situation. And we ask you to come to Ukraine and be chief of the instructors. And then these instructors build the team of Ukrainian instructors, and then it's spread around the Ukraine. So this is how we see the future of Ukrainian EMS system. And so far, this program run in Ternopil Medical University and other universities, and we reteach the Ukrainian emergency EMS staff. For my personal opinion, the situation became better. I'm I'm very critical person. If I see that something wrong, I will tell this wrong. I not will find the solutions or keep mouth closed. If I see that something wrong, I tell it. But here I see that really situation in EMS system in Ukraine changed for better. And we have staff who knew the EMS protocols, who can work very hard, very quick, and provide the medical care to the critical patients. Of course, it's not about all Ukraine, because we have a lot of EMS staff and we have a big territory and a lot of persons. But situation really changed, and they prepared to the providing of the critical care and emergency care. But we have also the war in Ukraine, and this, of course, this impact to the whole medicine, and we have destroyed hospitals, destroyed EMS stations, EMS points, EMS vehicles. Some part of Ukraine occupied, and some staff, EMS staff, live on the occupied territory. Some staff move to the other territory, so it's absolutely mess in Ukraine in medicine. It's, of course, it's very hard situation, but we have what we have, so we have to deal with it. But thankful to that courses, the transformation transitional program, we teach this EMS personnel, and so far we have like renewed EMS personnel.
That's a good transitional statement, because you wanted to talk about the tactical medicine situation in Ukraine. So what are your thoughts on the current situation, and how can Ukraine improve?
So far we have hybrid war, which runs not on a field, but it's run mostly on the cities. We don't have a lot of shooting conflict. We have artillery or bombing or rockets conflicts when a lot of rockets come. So it's a lot of injured person, but it's not the gun shooting injuries. It's shrapnel injuries. It's a multiply injuries which we can find on the body of our soldiers, and a lot of broken extremities, a lot of injuries of thorax, of abdominal, head, most of the problem that it's multiply injuries. And when you provide the care, you find not just one hole from a bullet, for example, but mostly you can find 5, 10 or more holes from the shrapnels. And when you find this person, in 99% of the injuries of the situation, it's combination of the injuries when we have head injuries and lung damages, penetration wound. Of course, it's cause the tension pneumothorax, hemothorax, and broken pelvis, and broken legs, and external bleeding. So it's maybe, if not 99, but 90% percentage of the causes, we have this combination of a lot of damages in the body, and you need to have ability to provide care with all of this situation, and you need to have tourniquets and IV staff and IV fluids and wood packing and bandages and other care just for one person. The situation when you have bombing and artillery emergency situation, in most of the cases, you have not just one person who was injured. Actually, in my vehicles, in my ambulances, I provide care in one time from 3 to 5 person in one time. And then I move this 5 person to the hospital, then back and find other 5 person or 3 person. So I cannot just take one person to my vehicles and move by one person, because I understand that there is 5 person and no medical vehicles exist in that sector. So just my vehicle. And maybe next time I cannot reach to these places. So I need to take all persons together in one time to my vehicles and move to the hospital. And I have to provide medical care, all of these persons together before I take it to my vehicles and then move to the hospital. So we have, first of all, we have the multiply injuries, and then we have multiply soldiers, a lot of soldiers who injured in one time, because we have, we told about explosion, so which can damage a lot of the soldiers.
Mass casualty is so you just described yourself doing 5 injuries and then going back and doing 5 more, and you're running out of kit. What improvised techniques are being used in Ukraine to deal with the pelvic fractures, the femur fractures, and the shrapnel wounds?
Actually, it's pretty the standard technique when we use the clothes, when we use the jackets, and put these jackets on the pelvic, for example, and fix the pelvic. But actually, I'm also have SAM splint very close to me, even right now. Because so far I have vacation after the hospitals, and I have time to put together a lot of medical device and then come back to the field, come back to the front line. So I have the medical devices close to me. When I personally move to the front line, I take a lot of medical devices. I ask volunteers to help me, and they bring me medicine which I need, and I have a lot of devices, and I have some junctional tourniquets, pelvic tourniquets, then the regular CAT tourniquets and other stuff. But it's told just about me, because average situation in Ukraine is different, and we don't have a lot of this stuff. Yes, we have to improvise, but we have war, we have conflict inside the cities, which means that we have the civil infrastructure very close to us. And I have situation when my transfer to the hospital takes about 20 to 30 minutes, which not long enough. I just take patient from the field, exactly from the front line, from the zero line, bring to my car, and then move to the hospital. And it takes maybe from 20 to 40 minutes. But of course, sometimes the hospital don't have access to the other places in Ukraine, like maybe situation in Mariupol, where it was improvised hospital in the factory, and this factory was surrounding by enemies, and absolutely don't have access to anything, to medicine, to people sources, even to the water. So sometimes it happens, and you have to be prepared, even if we told not about the preparation of when you have enough stuff, enough materials, but even mental preparation, because you need to understand that maybe few days, maybe few weeks, maybe few months, you don't have ability to get access to the normal civilization. So you need to be able or to be prepared to provide the medical care to the critical patient when you cannot move to the regular hospital, or to cannot move this patient to other hospital, something like that. So yes, it's happened sometimes, but in most cases we have war conflict in the cities, inside the cities, and we have the civil infrastructure close to us. But unfortunately, there is a lot of injured person, and the amount of the medicine, I mean the medical instruments or other things, this amount not enough to provide the medical care, because a lot of injuries, a lot of injured persons, a lot of soldiers who was injured, but not too much the medical equipment which we have inside hospitals, unfortunately. When we talked about the military medicine or tactical medicine, so far we have this hybrid war and mixed medicine, because most of the injured person need to get care in the normal civil hospital. So civil hospital became a military hospital, and all civil staff, medical staff, need to learn tactical medicine and provide the care to the injured person, which never happened before in the professional life. So this is also the challenges in Ukrainian medicine, when you have to be able, even if you regular doctors, for example, you can be a therapy or gynecology or any other, or pediatrician, you need to provide the medical care to the injured person which you never met before.
Yeah, there's a lot of docs that are, the cancer docs or orthopedic docs, and suddenly they're dealing with chest wounds, and you said there's a lack of medical equipment. What equipment are you lacking? Are you getting enough CAT tourniquets? Are you getting enough TXA, or what is really needed in the front lines?
Yes, and thank you for this question. Yes, the most needed medical equipment, it's fluids, from regular normal solutions to ringer or to some gels or other fluids, IV fluids, I mean. And also we need CAT tourniquets, bandages to stop the bleeding or to provide care to the wound. And then IV catheters, IV stuff, like systems for IV fluids. And then also we talked about the TXA, of course, because we need to make impact to the internal bleeding, something like AT tube for intubations, and also stuff to maintain the airways clear. This most needed stuff for us.
So what is the best way, if for the listeners that are out there that would want to help and want to provide some of this equipment, what's the best way to do that?
I understand that we have a big distance between me, for example, and any listeners, but if they can collect this medical stuff like CAT tourniquets or emergency bandages, they can send it to me personally, or find any funds in Ukraine who work or deal with the medical stuff. So far, we have a lot of funds who would like to help to Ukrainian soldiers, and who provide this collection of the medicine. So any way which which suitable. Even if you just collect and send it by regular post to me in Ukraine, it's good enough. Or you can send it to any hospital in Ukraine. It's absolutely works. So it depends what's the best way to any listener to collect or send something.
We'll give your email address in the notes on this so they can contact you directly, or they can contact the college and we can forward that to you. So there's definitely a need for equipment, and there's been a lot of donations, and hopefully it's reaching the front. A lot of them are stuck in Lviv and in Poland, but hopefully it's getting to you. So what about training? What training do you think is needed in the front lines? What training is needed for the doctors in the emergency department of the hospital?
Actually, when we told about that transitional program in Ukraine, it's very helpful to make transition for EMS staff. But of course, doctors who work in critical care room, in ER, also need to go through some transitional program, because unfortunately we don't have real ER room in Ukrainian hospitals. We call it ER room, but emergency room, but it's not the same which you can meet in European or United States hospitals. So we just in the start of the transitional pre-hospital care or first steps of the hospital care in Ukraine. So unfortunately, we don't have enough physicians who can provide really modern care according to the protocols to the injured person. But they need to learn on the wheels, which we call so for they works and learn, then they works and learn. So they it's like a learning during the works, and we don't have enough time to finish this reform and to finish even the not just pre-hospital but even the hospital care in this emergency room. And that courses like we provide with you to the person, to the medical personnel, how to provide the medical care in critical situations, very helpful courses, and we need courses like that, ITLS, ACLS, Pulse courses, something like that. So this information is very helpful and very neat in Ukraine, because we have a lack of or shortness of the personnel who finish these courses, personnel who work in hospital and finish these courses. Because mostly we have the personnel who finish the courses like ITLS or ACLS. It's a personnel who work on EMS system, who work on ambulances, but not have on hospitals. And we have a lack of the personnel who work in ER, and even this personnel don't finish these courses like ITLS or ACLS. So we have a lot of work in the future in Ukraine.
ITLS, we've been running quite a few ITLS courses with Vitalia at Ternopil State Medical University. I know there's an ITLS facility in Kiev as well. That wasn't enough to prepare people, was it? We needed to have people doing the ITLS or PHTLS in hospital as well as out of hospital. So like the TTRI-C course, Tactical Combat Casualty Care course, is that being taught to the non-medics and the medics on the ground?
If you talk about TCCC course, it's not very suitable for person who work in hospital, because part of the TCCC course, it's how you supposed to provide return fire, for example, or cover, or to provide care on the field. So it's suitable for medicals or medical personnel who work on the field, who work on the front line. And maybe not just medical personnel, it can be the regular soldiers who provide the medical care on the front line. But TCCC course, it's not very good for personnel who work in a hospital. They need courses like ITLS, PHTLS, or something like that. But so far we have situation when we need a lot of medical or just trained personnel who provide the medical care on a field or on a, if we told about the front line, maybe not on front line, but second line, something like that. Because we have situation when we need more and more soldiers in our army. So the army became the biggest, and we have a shortness or lack of the medical personnel who will provide the medical care. And we ask to the people who have medical degree to come to the army, and they come, but then they don't have experience and then they have knowledges about how to provide medical care in the tactical medicine, and they never finish the TCC course before. So we have a lack of these knowledges in Ukraine, even if we talk about the people who so far became military medics. So they call it military medics, but they don't have degree or experience or even trainings how to provide the care in a military situation. So we have a lack of that, the personnel, a lack of that courses. But in these days, from February of this year, we have just massive invasion, massive aggression of the Russia to Ukraine. But actually, war was started 8 years ago. So during these 8 years, we have a lot of persons who finish these courses. It's not enough for this situation, for real situation in Ukraine, but actually we have a lot of persons, and these persons trying to teach other person to provide some help to the situation. But it's not enough to have enough solution, to have enough person who finish, who knows this materials, who have these knowledges and even practical skills to provide this medical care, unfortunately.
So how do we fix this? There's two tiers, right? There's the TCCC non-medic on the ground that needs a 2-day course to stop the bleeding. And then there's the medical professional like yourself and doctors, felchers, and nurses. How do we train them up? What do they need? Do they need the 3-week paramedic course that we offered in Ternopil? Or do they need a 1-week remote EMT course? Or just the 2-day ITLS course? How can we fix this?
Yeah, we can start these courses in some safety places in Ukraine, like Ternopil, for example. But the most problem how to get listeners of these courses, participants of these courses, because the most person who need to go through these courses so far on the front line, and we cannot to move this person from front line to, for example, Ternopil, and then back to the front line, because they have a lot of work on front line. Otherwise, we also cannot to provide these courses close to the front line, because at first it's not safety, and second, there is no places where these courses can be run, because it's maybe in some destroyed city, destroyed buildings, in other stuff. So they know there is no any facilities when we can teach the person. So this is like a situation when we have two biggest problem. First of all, we cannot move the personnel from front line, and second situation when we also cannot move close to this personnel to the front line. But we also can provide some program very similar to the transition program. When we start, for example, teaching the TCCC for medical personnel or TCCC for non-medical personnel courses, for example, in Ternopil, to build some group of instructors who will able to provide these courses spread around Ukraine. So it's like one of the solutions which can exist.
How would we put that in place? So we were invited by the Minister of Health in 2019 to run this transition program in Ternopil. How would we do this now? How can we address these issues?
So far, we don't need some invitation from any ministry in Ukraine, because we have decentralization, and we can start, for example, these courses with Ternopil Medical University, or maybe with any other educational facility in Ukraine, but we need to have enough equipment to start these courses. We need to find participants And also we need to think about the money, how we can cover it. The instruction cost, for example, flight tickets or train tickets on any other, and also we have to cover the cost for the participants, because participants also supposed to be moved through Ukraine and live and eat something and other things. So we need to find these fundings. This is also the biggest issues, because so far we have lack of the money, because a lot of money comes to the front lines and we buy some stuff, military stuff or medical stuff or vehicles to the front lines, and lack of the money which we can spend to other things.
Yeah, that's the showstopper, isn't it? So we have vast amounts of people in our connections within the college who can teach, or faculty, but it's a matter of getting them to Ukraine, and then there's a problem of getting the medics off the front lines. They need to be on the front lines. So running TCCC courses seems to be, we need to be close enough to the front where medics can come out for an 8-hour course and then go back in. I have talked to people who are running TCCC courses in Kyiv, and there definitely needs to be more for non-medics. So what about the second tier? What about the docs? How do we provide an ITLS course, or how can our college create a 2-day similar ITLS course that is specifically designed for the needs for your doctors working in the hospitals?
If we talk about the hospital stuff, it's easiest than we talked about the military. If we talk about the military stuff, because hospitals located in the distance, sometimes far from the front lines. So yeah, we can teach inside the hospitals, and it can be any hospitals in Ukraine, because we have a lot of the hospitals who provide the care to the injured person, and this injured person, not just military person. We have a lot of civilian who also get injured, and we have a lot of the cities which was destroyed. Pretty any hospitals in Ukraine, even if you talk about the eastern Ukraine or central Ukraine, a lot of the hospitals who provide the critical care. So we can take any hospitals and start to teach to run this short ITLS courses. It's absolutely a good idea.
So it just comes down to funding. We have a lot of people in our connections who are happy to teach. It's just a matter of getting the funding. So hopefully someone listening to this podcast would be willing to talk to us and talk to you and be able to provide these 2-tiered courses for improving the outcomes of casualties. Any other suggestions or any other points that you would like to bring up about the situation?
We have big challenges in Ukraine with medical system, really, because a lot of the hospital destroyed and a lot of the staff who moved from one places to other places, and we have the lack of the medical staff. If somebody would like to provide the medical care, of course, they can come to Ukraine, and I'm not told just about the military situation, because we really have a lot of hospitals who provide the medical care. These hospitals are located not on the front line. It can be also dangerous places, because even so far I'm in Kyiv, or close to the Kyiv, not inside the cities, but close to the Kyiv. But even here, it's dangerous, because Russian army have rockets which able to come and bombing any places in Ukraine. So actually, any places in Ukraine can be dangerous. But of course, if we told not about the front line. So yes, if we have some person who would like to provide the medical care, who have enough time to come to Ukraine and provide the medical care, it will be a good idea to come and help us, because we have a lack of the medical personnel. Even personnel who able to provide the critical care. The other things, yes, we need to have medical equipment, critical care equipment like CAT tourniquet, bandages, EMBU, breathing mask or something like that. We need fluids, any critical care equipment which you can imagine. It will be good idea for Ukraine. And then after this situation, we will need to build strategies how we can renew our medicine. But of course, it will be when the war was finished. Nobody know when it happened. Maybe we will have years of a war. Maybe have 1 year. We don't know.
So I like you. I like that you're looking at the long view. I like that you're looking at an improved medical system within Ukraine. I'm avid history buff, and I'm remembering the French Revolution and the war that France went through crumbled their medical system, and they gave them a chance to completely redesign it and build it. And I'm hoping that this is also an option. So as you are rebuilding your country with the support of Europe and the U.S., and that hopefully we can bring in some of these changes that you want to introduce. And our college is definitely there to support again as best as we can. It's been really good, Glib. Any other points that you'd want to get out to the listeners?
I just would like to tell personally to you, thanks, and to other colleges staff, thanks for your hard work, because all the technologies which you bring to us, which you give to us, are really very helpful. And sometimes you don't know how important it is. And then after the sometimes when I'm personally meet the situation and I come to the situation where this technologies need and I start to use this technologies, I understand, this technology is very, very important. So thank you for all your hard work and for your programs and for your helping to Ukraine and for that period when you come to Ukraine and starting that courses in Ternopil University transitional program and ITLS program and other stuff. So you do a very important job, absolutely important job. And just please don't stop. Please continue to do this work because a lot of people need these knowledges and practical skills.
Brilliant. That's perfect. Thanks. That's went really well, and hopefully this is going to get the word out and get people interested and connected. One thing I wanted to ask you, Glib, is we have a field guide, and you have a copy of that. Would it help to have that translated into Ukraine and given out to the medics, and maybe a smaller version that just has the TCCC part of it, and give that to the troops on the ground, and have the bigger version for the doctors? Would that be something helpful?
Yeah, it's absolutely good idea to translate it to the Ukrainian, print and spread out around the medical staff or not medical staff who provide the critical care or medical care on the field. So far, we don't talk about the doctors, but we talked about the personnel who are medics in military. Yes, it's a good idea, but first, if we manage this process, first of all, we need to translate, and then we need to adapt or to read, edit this translation, and then we need to print. And of course, we need to manage this process because it's also a conversation about the money, because we need to pay to the translator and where we need to pay the editors, and then of course we need to pay for the printing. Yes. But it's absolutely good idea because that field guide, it's very helpful field guide, and I have my own copy, and I show this copy to my friends, my colleagues, and then I have this electronic version, so it's absolutely suitable, absolutely great idea.
Do you think the smartphone-based electronic version would be useful for the medics on the ground and non-medics?
If it will be translated to the Ukraine, yes.
That's the way forward, Glib, is instead, I mean, eventually get to the point where we can print. But so we're looking at about 20 pages. The first 20 pages, our field guide, is TCCC. So do you have people that you know that would be willing to translate the 20 pages? The college will cover the cost of the translation, and then we can put it free on the app, and then we can give it out free to everyone in Ukraine that wants it. Yeah, so 20 pages of our field guide is TCCC.
We have Ukrainian TCCC.
Oh, so you have that in Ukrainian in a field guide or in a app?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we told about the TCCC, yes, we have it.
Okay, so you don't need that.
Yeah.
You need the
TCCC,
full
no.
guide. All right, so 320 pages would take a long time to translate.
Yeah,
But
you're absolutely right.
I'm happy to talk to translators to see what the cost would be, that we can move forward with that. But anything else that you can think of on how the college can support you guys?
No, thank you for your work. Thank you for your job and for this podcast and for conversation. It's very great to see you again, and thank you so much.
Brilliant. This has been a presentation from the College of Remote and Offshore Medicine Foundation. If you would like to earn CPD credit for this podcast, you can join the Council of Members. Being a member of the college gives you free CPD credits, free access to the virtual field guide, and discounts on our e-learning courses. You can join the team on the college website, which is CoROM, CoROM, CoROM.org.